Jaron Boots Ennis don't owe Terence Crawford squat. And he made it very obvious as he helps Canelo Alvarez prepare for his fight with Terence Crawford. Incredible development because, and I will argue in this particular video, that sparring session and the work that these guys are doing together are going to be so nearly identical to what Canelo Alvarez will see in the ring with Terence Crawford that you almost have to call it an unfair advantage. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back. We are just a couple weeks away from the big fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Bud Crawford. And new information got put out yesterday about how Canelo Alvarez is preparing for the fight and how Terence Crawford is preparing for the fight. When news came out that Jaron Ennis, the former unified champion at 147, and somebody that had been in conversations about fighting Terence Crawford before, is now training with Canelo Alvarez. Now, Canelo Alvarez is also helping prepare Jaron for his fight with Lima. This, I'm telling you, is huge because that is a level of sparring that nobody that is prepared for Terence Crawford before has been able to get. Because Terence Crawford is a very, very difficult person to mimic because of the fact that he fights, basically he's a southpaw that can fight orthodox. He fights orthodox, he fights southpaw, he uses a lot of feints, he's very, very quick, he was very, very quick, very, very athletic. And if you want to find anybody to copy Terence Crawford, you're going to find Jaron Ennis because Jaron Ennis can switch stances just like Terence Crawford switches stances. He hits just as hard as Terence Crawford. He's quicker than Terence Crawford. And if they're training together to mimic Terence Crawford, I guarantee you Jaron Ennis can mimic Terence Crawford, might be able to mimic Terence Crawford as well as Terence Crawford can mimic Terence Crawford because Jaron Ennis grew up watching Terence Crawford, and you can clearly see that he's influenced by Terence Crawford in the way that he fights. And he's also, let me add this as well, has somebody in his corner, Bozy Ennis, that is one of the best trainers in boxing. So if Bozy is saying, okay, we're going to do some rounds, we're going to act like Terence, man, Bozy is going to know, hey, okay, do this, and they can talk about it. They're going to be able to set that up. This is a lot of trouble for Canelo. This is a lot of trouble for Terence Crawford. It really is because the one unique thing about Terence, the thing that makes Terence so difficult to prepare for is because you can't find anybody that fights like him. This guy fights fights a lot like him and can definitely mimic him. Now, I want to address something. Terence Crawford did not fight Jaron Ennis. Not only did Terence Crawford not fight Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford and Terence Crawford's people were also involved with a lot of talk about Jaron Ennis that made Jaron Ennis look as if Jaron Ennis was ducking Terence Crawford. When I believe, and I think most reasonable people would believe, that nothing could be further from the truth. So, like I said at the top of this video, Jaron Ennis doesn't owe Terence Crawford a thing. Not a thing, because there are people that are going to be out there saying this is terrible. You're trying to tear down a black man. There's a black man that is an American that is trying to make history, and Jaron Ennis he shouldn't be trying to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for him. That's not right. You know what I mean? You even had Tim Bradley come out and say, oh, man, what the heck? You got to tell us what you saw. You got to tell us what you saw, Jaron. You got to let Terence Crawford know. What's he working on? Come on, let us know on the low. What's going on? What are they working on? No. Why in the world would Jaron Ennis help Terence Crawford at all? Especially when he's getting sparring from Canelo Alvarez, who is the best possible sparring that Jaron Ennis could possibly get. Because Jaron Ennis has never been in the ring, in a professional fight at least, with somebody of that skill level. So these guys are sitting there talking, game planning, and saying, hey, look, man, if I would do this, you ever thought about doing that? Look at it this way, try to do a little bit of that, try this. You got Jaron on the other side saying, look, man, Terence likes to do this. And hey, how would I react to that? How are you going to react when he does this? How are you going to react when he does that? Because Terence Crawford's patterns are out there, right? But at the end of the day, no, Terence Crawford don't think about nobody but Terence Crawford when Terence Crawford is fighting. So I don't see why anybody would go out of their way, well, why Jaron Ennis specifically would go out of his way to either give him inside information on Canelo or refuse to spar Canelo because, he wants to be loyal to Bud. Bud Crawford is not loyal to black people, so is definitely not loyal to black people. So I have no idea why Jaron Ennis would have to be loyal to him out the blue. Anyway, though, Shakur Stevenson is also involved in this because Shakur Stevenson is sparring with Terence Crawford. Now, I am not sure how in the world a southpaw, a small southpaw like Shakur Stevenson is really going to be able to help prepare and mimic somebody like a Canelo Alvarez. Those don't even match up. And his power is not there. The way that he moves is not there. It just doesn't even seem like that's. And again, Shakur Stevenson's a southpaw. Now, I'm sure Shakur Stevenson can fight in an orthodox stance and can mimic, but dog, that's not even going to be close to what the mimicking that Jaron Ennis can do for Canelo Alvarez. At the end of the day, though, man, I'm glad that this fight is coming. Honestly, right by now, it can't get here soon enough because I just want to know what the result is going to be. Personally, I got to say that I want Terence Crawford to win the fight, even though I'm not a big fan of the guy. Seriously, I'm not. But I am a fan of American boxing. And, Canelo Alvarez is a Mexican fighter. So, hey, let the American win. You know what I mean? However, to tell you the truth, I really kind of don't even have a horse in the race because Canelo should be fighting David Benavidez. And if Terence Crawford is going to be fighting, personally, I think Terence Crawford should be fighting somebody like Jaron Ennis. Those are the fights that should be taking place, not this weight jump thing that really isn't going to pan out for anybody other than the people that are in the ring making the money. But that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.